Welcome, I'm Matt from Total Drummer. Today we are going to learn a basic jazz pattern. Now I'm going to say every drummer should know this. I don't care if you're a heavy metal drummer, a reggae drummer. I think every drummer needs to just know enough of each style that he can do it if he needs to. And I've had to do this loads, you know, in my musical career. I might be doing a pop gig, but suddenly someone chucks in a jazz thing, or you just got to be able to do it right there and then. Doesn't mean you have to be an expert in jazz, all right? This could be, you know, you could be looking at this and you're going to become a professional jazz drummer one day. Maybe you will. But I think everyone needs to know it. Just you've got enough just to get you through that song if you need to do it. And once you've got a basic understanding of a style, that's a launch pad, right? And then you can go off and explore further. So I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you understand that. So we're going to look at a very basic jazz pattern. Now, the first thing you really need to know about jazz is predominantly it is swung. That means it's based on the triplet subdivision. So there's 3 of those in a beat, and we're going to count them as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Now some people count it as 1 ER, 2 ER, 3 ER. For me it's 1 triplet, 2 triplet, so that's how we're going to do it right now. The important thing is there's 3 notes and they're evenly spaced in each beat. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So now we know that, let's learn the beat. Before you watch a video, go and subscribe to support the channel and get the new videos as soon as they launch. Okay, so here's the sheet music. There's a link below this video. You can go and grab this for free. It's yours, print it off, whatever. This is going to help you learn. I think even if you're not into reading, this will help you still because you've got the visual element. It's going to help you remember it. You can see how it looks on the page and all of that business. So we're going to look at the first rhythm. Now, what we've got here is, for the jazz thing, it actually only lasts for 2 beats. We're in 4/4 time signature, so 4 quarter notes in a bar, but we can cut that in half because it just repeats beats 1 and 2. Okay, so we need to learn 2 beats. Now the ride pattern consists of a quarter note, which lasts for 1 beat, so we go 1, and then on beat 2, we hit beat 2, and then we hit the 3rd note in the triplet of beat 2, which is the let, because it goes 2 trip let. So we hit the 2, we miss the trip, and we play the let, like this, 2 triplet, 2 triplet. So if I put that together, beat 1 and beat 2, we get 1 triplet, 2 triplet, and again 1 triplet, 2 triplet. And if you look at the sheet music there, line 1 is doing exactly that. So you can see we've got a ride cymbal on the top line on beat 1, then we've got a ride cymbal again on beat 2. Then we've got an 8th note rest, which would be the trip. That's that silent trip. And then the next note there, we can see above it says the let. Okay? And we've got the bracket over it with the 3. That's telling us it's a triplet. If it's a triplet, it will always have a 3 above it or below it. So that shows us that's a triplet. And we can see the rest on that middle note where we go 2 triplet. So the rest is on the trip there. So that's the pattern. So one more time. 1 triplet, 2 triplet. And then you can see it repeats that, so it hits a quarter note on 3, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So then beat 4 is the same as beat 2. So let me just tap that whole bar out and I'll count it so you can kind of get a feel for it. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. That is it. Okay? So if you can play that, you can pretty much ride your way through a song, just about. It won't be the most interesting thing, but you just about get through it. Let's check that out on the ride cymbal. Right, so that's sounding like jazz, right? That's sounding like a jazz beat. You're probably hearing that and going, oh yeah, I've heard that in jazz music. That's because it's the basis for a majority of jazz tunes. That's what it's built upon. But there's another key element, right? So when we play rock and pop and funk and all that, if you think about it, we're driving it with our bass and snare, boom, bat, boom, boom, bat, which is for right-handed drummers, that's right foot and left hand. Right foot on the bass, left hand on the snare, boom, tsh, boom, tsh. So jazz is the opposite limbs. Those ones are kind of redundant just for what we're doing today. So we're already playing on the ride cymbal, so it's our right hand, and then the other element which we're going to add now is our left foot on the hi-hat pedal. So we're not going to hit the hi-hat with our hand. We're just going to put our foot down and get those hi-hats to shut and go chick. Okay, so hopefully your hi-hat doesn't sound like that. Chick. And we can see that here on the second line down. So it's the same as the first line, but can you see along the bottom there? We've got a quarter note rest, and then that down there is a hi-hat foot pedal on beat 2. Then a quarter note rest on 3 and a hi-hat foot pedal on 4. So the hi-hat is doing 2 and 4. And that really drives jazz musicians. That keeps the band in time. That's where we're feeling it on 2 and 4, not 1 and 3. Like you might stress if you're playing funk. That beat 1's quite important. Here it's not so important. So it's the 2 and 4 we're counting with our hi-hat. So the hi-hat foot pedal goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then over the top we've got the ride, 1, 2 and 3, 4, and 1, 2 and 3. And by the way, I'm saying and there, so you know before we counted let, we went 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4 triplet, 1. Once you get comfortable with the groove and the feel of that being swung, you can stop counting the full triplets. You can stop going 2 triplet. You don't need to count the trip in the rest once you've got it. I just count and, because I'm comfortable with the feel. So I'll go 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3. So that's up to you, but I would suggest until you get used to swung music, you count the space. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. If you don't count that space, you're probably going to stop swinging and go back into straight music, which we don't want to do for this, all right? So anyway, so hi-hat on 2 and 4, ride on all those other notes we just did. 1, 2 and 3, 4, and 1, 2 and 3, 4. Don't know why I'm doing it here, let's do it on the kit. Okay, that's it. That's the basic pattern. Now, it is the basic pattern, but that's what this lesson's called. It's the basic pattern. So it's just to get you used to jazz. Like I say, if it gets pulled up in a gig, you're there thinking you're going to play rock, someone chucks in a jazz tune, just pull this out and you'll keep time. It's not going to change the world, this beat, but you are going to be able to get through a song and it's going to sound like jazz, okay? If you want to go further with this, then you can start to develop on top of it. So what I'm going to suggest you do, 2 things. One is, so links below this video, go and get the sheet music, because even if you don't read, this is going to help. And you can pull it out down the line and just keep coming back to it. And it's going to help your reading just by trying, but I think that visual is going to really help you get this beat. So go and get that. There's another link below that where you can go and check out a cool video. It's the best rudiment for jazz. So it's a way to really... It's a bit more complex if you're just learning this, but it's something to aim for, and I think you'll be able to grasp it already. Go and get us a free video. If you want to take your jazz even further, there's another link down there, and you can go and do a jazz course. And we're basically going to use this as the foundation, because it is the foundation rhythm of jazz music, and then we're going to build on top of that and take you to the next level. So if you kind of like this is just kind of scratching the surface, just dipping your toe in. If you want to go further, go and check out the full course. But before you do any of that, hit subscribe, because there's going to be loads more free videos like this coming your way that are going to help you with all sorts of drumming. So hit subscribe now, then go and hit the link, get the sheet music, and I'll see you over at the jazz course if you fancy doing that.